Hello, everyone. Welcome to Why You Shouldn't with Veronica. Today's topic is why you shouldn't keep the crap instead of cutting the fat. So I'm going to get personal, and it's going to be triggering for a lot of y'all who don't want to accept truth to certain things that we've accepted as what we wanted to do. But for the ones who want it, I want to tell you I'm coming to you from a place of love and care in regards to what is killing us, not just physically, but mentally and spiritual as well, as for Black women as well as the Black community. On September 10th, 2018, my cousin, who was like my sister to me, passed away. I sat in the hospital room with her until she took her last breath. Her kids, which were adults, but they couldn't do it and it wasn't expected. And I grew up in a close-knit family in Charleston, South Carolina. And one of the things we were taught is you're never going to be alone. You're never going to be by yourself. And when I sat there, my cousin was unresponsive. She couldn't talk. She couldn't do anything except cry, have tears come out of her eyes when these nurses had to turn her just to make sure she was comfortable. She couldn't respond to anything else. We would come in there and love on her and pray on her and play all her favorite music because I was like, I'm not going back to work. I'm not taking a client. I'm not doing anything until we do this together. So I might get a little emotional, but I'm going to hold it together because one of the things I want you to do is learn from this experience. So my cousin, she ended up passing away from something that was completely avoidable and of her own making. I said she didn't have the knowledge, she didn't have the wherewithal, but it was things that we were taught later on, but we don't implement, especially as Black people, because we want to fight things, or especially as people who just want to accept the status quo when they're dealing with depression, when they're dealing with eating habits, when they're dealing with spiritual warfare. So when we came to find out, we got this call. My cousin, she started calling me, and throughout the days and weeks and months of 2018, it just didn't seem right. So one day she called me back to back and literally asked me the same question. And I said, hey, you just asked me that. What's going on? And she was like, oh, I did. I didn't remember. So I called another cousin of ours and I said, hey, do you think anything's going on with our cousin? Because something seems strange. She called me and asked me the same thing, like she didn't remember. And she's done this a couple of times throughout the last couple of weeks. And my cousin said, yeah, I noticed the same thing. And I was wondering if something was off with her too. So we touched base with her kids down there, her nephews, them, and they were telling us a little bit of what was going on. And come to find out, she obviously was having strokes. And the reason she was having this because she had started drinking again. My cousin had given up drinking alcohol when she was like 18, 19, because we were one rough family, baby. You rumbling. And she turned out to be a mean alcoholic. And she stopped, found God, turned her life around, and did all of this for almost 40 years. We were supposed to be selling her 49th birthday party. Her 50th birthday party. She passed away at 49. Do y'all understand? 49 years old from obesity-related issues. She started back drinking the previous year before in 2017 at a birthday party. And I thought it was just a one-off thing until I found out later on from her niece and nephews and everything that it wasn't one-off. That she had been sending them to the store to get it. She had been making them, pretty much browbeating them into doing these things for her, even when they didn't want it to, because they loved her and respect her, and they just wanted to say, okay, this is what you want, we're going to do it. They didn't understand the severity of the issue that she was facing. And with less than 6-7 months, my cousin was having strokes from her drinking alcohol because she had a fatty liver from her obesity. We had talked about her weight throughout the years and saying, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. But you know the excuses a lot of y'all use. Oh, I'm not as big as her, while you're comparing your 250 pounds or 300 pounds to a 400-pound woman. Oh, I'm still good, or I can dress it up, because we do a lot of that of dressing up the fat, especially in the Black community, because we can make some things look fire, baby, no matter what shape we have. And so we tend to not think it's something we need to take care of, no matter when it's causing us edema and all the water weight in us is swelling up, or our bones or our ligaments and our tendons are hurting, and our body is telling us this is not what we're built for. This is not how God made us. This is not what we're supposed to do. And sidebar, before y'all say, oh, it's skinny people who are unhealthy. I know that. And I call them slim flabby people, and it's even worse because they don't even have to lose any weight. But they can have fatty livers as well. It's just that when you are overweight or obese, it's more detrimental. So you come with a lot more symptoms and more things that are diagnosed, such as high blood pressure, infertility. A lot of that, we got the highest rate right now of infertility in the Black community, and it's related to a lot of Black women being overweight. But we don't want to have that conversation, right? We can't blame doctors for everything. Some of it is our fault. We want to blame doctors for, they got high blood pressure, or we normalize taking medication for high blood pressure and diabetes. And we say, well, I don't have those things, that I'm overweight. That's not something you're supposed to have. These aren't things you're supposed to have. My cousin barely lasted 6 months when she started drinking alcohol before they gave us a call. And I went down there and said she was having a stroke. And I went down there and tried to get her to eat this. She started eating better. I would walk with her, but she was unrecognizable when I saw her at the time. Her hair was gone. Like I could put grip literally her legs or her hands and leave imprints because the edema was so bad. And she was in constant pain and itching and her skin being aggravated, couldn't even wipe herself. Her niece and her sisters them had to wipe her and help her to the bathroom and walk and everything else. And she said, Ronnie, when this is over, I'm never going to let myself get like this. I was depressed. I let everything get to me. She was giving so much to the church and it wasn't giving enough back. She was dealing with her ex-husband and he was sorry. She was trying to make her kids better, but they were good people, but she just couldn't let it go because she was always so used to making sure everybody was okay, but never want to accept anything for herself. I got her on a strict diet. I said, this is all you can eat. This is what we're going to do. You're going to lose this weight. So when the next prognosis or your next appointment comes, this is where we're at. And she was like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I stayed with her as long as I could. I went back home. I give everybody instructions. She kept trying to get them to stay away from the instructions. They would have to call me every day. She wants us to give her this to eat. She wants us to give her that because she didn't want to eat what I told her from the arginine or just eating healthy with the romaine lettuce, cutting fats, all of these things. And she could not walk on her own. Do y'all understand this? And still was wanting her way. And I would get on the phone, but I was like, do you want somebody wiping your behind all the time? Do you want somebody to help you? Do you want this edema that literally have you swollen? Do you want to catch strokes? Your hair is completely gone off of your head. Is this what you want? And she was like, no, Ronnie, I'm sorry. I'm going to get it together. And she got it together enough where they decreased her medication, which I feel was not right at all. But the doctors say, no, she's okay. We can do this. But I feel she wasn't ready for that. And when they decreased her medication, it's not that she even went off the rails and was drinking again or anything and eating bad. She literally went down. And within less than a month and a half of them taking her or lowering her medication, she got worse. They had to have a conversation with all of us. They called us all on three-way. That means the cousins and all the relatives that were out of town, along with the relatives and her kids that were in Charleston, South Carolina, and put us all on three-way to have a conversation with the doctors. And, you know, doctor can't never tell you 100%, oh, they're not going to make it. Even though she was on a breathing tube, she couldn't breathe on her own. All of her organs were shutting down one by one because her liver was fatty and it had shut itself down or was shutting itself down. It wasn't functioning anymore. So it affected everything else. And we had to have this conversation on a three-way call with my aunt who was almost 80-something years old and was having to bury her niece and nephews through various means that in our family. We had to sit on this conversation with her two sons, having to hear, I have to really believe my mother's not going to make it when my mother's a powerful woman of God. And you're saying that, you know, oh, she can make it if we do this or she can make it if we do that, without really hearing the doctors telling them that she's not going to live. To her niece and nephews that she raised, because she went from 2 kids to 8 when her mother passed away. Her sister and brother and her 4 nieces and nephews who my aunt, her mom had custody of when she passed away. And she took care of everything and ran that household so efficiently and loved on everybody, but did not save enough love and wanted an understanding for herself. Because society tells us, oh, it's okay to be overweight. And they sold us all this big, impactful movements of, oh, plus size and loving yourself, wanting to sell you this mediocrity without saying, no, it's not the best for your body. And a lot of us, because people want to stay the same way they are and don't want to put the work and the discipline. There's less than 0.2% of people that have related illnesses or symptoms that cause them to gain weight, like hypothyroidism, these such things. But the majority of people that are overweight or obese is because they lack the discipline and they are eating things that are not best for them while moving less. But we don't want to accept that because we're dressing it up in this market. All these plus size models, y'all talk about the Victoria's Secret models, but the plus size models that we have today right now, they're photoshopped. They're getting paid to stay overweight. So are the entertainers who want y'all to buy into that. Then next thing you know, they're losing weight because guess what happens? They start feeling like crap. And then y'all don't want to even give them the grace to change because they have sold you this whole message and this bill of goods that it was okay the way you were. And I'm not talking about aesthetics. I'm talking about health-wise. And we as Black women need to wake up because when I travel all around this world, it is mainly us that I see that is overweight in the largest percentage when I'm on boats or when I'm on cruises or not cruises, but just on boats or going in the airport or on these trips or vacation or even in business meetings. We're intelligent as hell. We're resourceful as hell. We're resilient as hell. But we're sitting there literally disrespecting the one thing that we only have one of, which is our body. To buy into a lot of movements. Right now, you're looking at statistics that have shown you, right? This is the youngest generation that will not outlive us, Generation X's, because we have literally done this to our kids and our grandkids, selling them this bill of goods of being overweight. We have plus size children clothes. Do y'all understand me? We have our kids right now getting prescribed Ozempic and other weight loss drugs Because what you're doing, your child is doing. Because you don't want to confront a lot of things. Black women have the highest rate of obesity more than any other female demographic in the U.S. at 64%. We have the highest rate of infertility more than any other demographic at almost 32%, and most of it is obesity related. Black men are dying at obesity related issues as high blood pressure and hypertension and different related illnesses from heart attacks at 65%. Do you all understand me? And the majority of it is our diet and how we're taking care of ourselves. We want to dress everything up. We want to go on vacations, but we have to start really looking and loving on one another. And you might not like these conversations, but you don't have to like them to know that what you're doing to yourself is not the best for you. And a lot of it, once you get in them head spaces, you become depressed because what we eat literally affects our mental, which affects our spiritual and our physical. And I want you to encourage y'all. If you don't have nobody to even help you or be there for you, I guarantee you I'll be there. DM me. I'll take time out my day to walk out with you, encourage you. Don't let the people around you keep you in a state of not being your best. God, Allah, Buddha, whoever you believe in or not believe in, did not build you for this. Nature did not design you to carry that amount of weight on the bones in the way that you are DNA genetically predisposed to do. Some of us got the excuse and got the reasoning behind medical issues causing it, but majority of us do not. We don't. It's lack of discipline. It's lack of self-love. It's lack of acceptance that this is not the best thing. And stop letting these celebrities sell y'all on these falsehoods because they're getting paid to do this. And they have the money for somebody to wipe their behind. They have the money for somebody to take care of them. They have the money to cut that fat out when they want to on the level of chefs, trainers, and anybody else they want. Unfortunately, you don't. We don't have universal health care in America. You don't have the corporations looking out for you when they're putting certain things in their food. You have to look out for you. You have to look out for your children. Because what has ended up happening is literally you passing a curse on of unhealthiness to your kids and now your grandkids. And this is not a judgment. I'm telling y'all out of a love of having to hold my cousin's hand, who is like my sister. Y'all don't understand. This is my second time recording this because I broke down and cried a lot. Like my sister, and she's not able to see her grandkids. She only saw one at 1 year or 2 years old before she passed away. When she took her last breath, do y'all understand me? And I went to call her children and tell her she had been gone. I accidentally hit record and didn't even realize I had a picture of me crying trying to use my phone. You do not want your relatives to be left having to take care of you because of something you could have avoided. You don't want your tombstone to literally read subconsciously, sustenance killed me. Because you didn't want to fix your problem. You worrying about, long as I got a small waist, y'all up in here having these surgeries. And we got a whole nother issue with these women with these fake behinds and fake booties and all this plastic surgery in their face. You want the small waist while you got everything else wide. Oh, I can dress it up. It can look cute. You can't dress up that organ that's pumping harder because it has to pump doggone blood through these organs that's full of fat or overweight and the pressure, the edema that's choking everything in your body. But it's okay though. So you over-sexualize like people who have issues do. Slim people do it too. You overeat. I'm a carb eater when I get aggravated. But I have trained myself through discipline and loving myself. Like, I'm not going to say I eat a whole pizza now. I might eat half or some of it. But I exercise. I eat in moderation. I do the things I need to do. Because I don't ever want to burden my kids with the decision of having to choose of what's going to happen to me. Because I put myself in a position for them to be unhealthy. Nobody want to do that. Stop saying I die for my children. I die for my mom. I die for my family. Live for them. Do the best by them by taking care of you. Mentally, spiritually, and physically, it is affected by what we put in these gates. Our mouth gate, our eye gate, our ear gates. I'm encouraging y'all. Don't buy into this hype with these people that trying to sell you these because they getting paid the same with them Victoria. Them slim models are getting paid, so are these plus size ones are getting paid. Until it don't fit them no more. But they sold you that and had you with these bill of goods and not even taking, I'm getting choked up, not taking care of yourself. Like I said, if you need somebody to hold you down, I'll be there for y'all. I'll walk with you if I got to do it via camera. And we're going to get it done. Look at these women out here and follow these social media platforms that showed you how they took one day at a time. Nobody telling you it's going to happen overnight because you didn't get big overnight. Stop putting on these garments and everything trying to mask it because you're going to be a real pretty in that coffin. You're going to be real pretty in that coffin. And people just accepting it. Do y'all understand you got to pay more for people who are overweight when they pass away? The coffin's got to be bigger. Do y'all understand what it comes with burying somebody who's overweight or who's obese? I just want what's best for y'all, and I hope y'all take it as this. And if you got a problem with it, hopefully it triggers you to be better. And please understand, this is not an attack on y'all. Nobody's hating on nobody overweight. Because while them same celebrities celebrating all these overweight women and saying they loving on us and go get it, girl, they in the gym. They got their chef preparing certain meals for them. They sit there meditating, taking care of their bodies while they encouraging you. Oh, I love you. Girl, I love how you just, oh, you're so bold. Oh, you own your stuff. While they healthy as hell. While they taking care of themselves. While they ain't doing the substances. While they not smoking all of the drinking and the liquor. They ain't doing none of that while they encouraging you. Live your life, girl. Yes, show them. Oh, I love your boldness. While they on that treadmill. While they walking down the street. While they lifting that weight and strength training. And I want y'all to understand when I say this. Show me a 70-year-old who's obese that's still alive. I would love y'all to show me one. Because the average person who's overweight or obese does not live past 62. And you can look all these statistics up, I'm telling y'all. There are multiple doggone statistics related investigations showing you this. And it's sad that we have to keep as being black women because we can pretty everything up and we can dress everything up. The main people that's affected by this. I hope y'all hear me and hear me from the heart. Start small. You ain't got to start big. Start drinking with just a glass or two of water. Start walking to a stop sign or something in your neighborhood. And it don't matter what nobody think and nobody gonna judge you because shit, ain't nobody living for you. You have to live for you. You have to want what you want in this life enough to say, I have to take care of the thing I have one out. There's no more other bodies in the closet. It's just me. And I have to love me enough to not buy into the bull. To not be another statistic when it comes to something that I can control. I can't control what they put in this food, but I can control what goes in my mouth from what I eat. I can control the fruit and vegetables. Nobody ain't never died from eating too many fruit and vegetables unless you're allergic to it. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for that. Oh, we all gonna die from something. The Grim Reaper don't need no help getting you. He's batting 0 to a billion. Don't help him. Live a long and great life. And no matter what it is you're trying to do, if you're trying to be the best mom, the best sister, the best actress, the best secretary, the best CEO, whatever it is, do it at your best and healthiest that you can be. And trust and believe you're going to thank yourself so much for it and you're going to give yourself credit because nobody else did it but you. So like I said, DM me if y'all need some help. DM some of these women who out here showing you how they busting their behind and they lost this weight in a year or two and they keep going. They fall off and fall on. Don't look at all these celebrities and don't look at some of these regular people telling y'all to buy into this mess. Because you notice how some of these celebrity women who are overweight have already passed away. And you notice how some of these regular people who telling y'all don't want to tell y'all that they popping pills because they unhealthy. They don't want to tell y'all that they drinking and they liver fatty and they feeling sick. When Lizzo tried to tell y'all that a couple years ago, y'all literally attacked this young lady. Because, see, she bought into the hype, too. And now had to feel it when it wasn't healthy for her liver anymore. And she got sicker. And she said, I got to do what I got to do. And once you start realizing the money ain't worth it or egos or people talking about you is not worth it, when you decide to change, you decide to change. And for the ones of y'all who won't, have a good life and more power to you. But I hope you decide to do what's best for yourself. Y'all have a good day and hope you join us again soon on Why You Shouldn't with Veronica.